Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. From the legendary shoe, Ohio Stadium. We've got Big Ten football for you on Fox as the national champion, undefeated, #1 team in the nation. The world-famous Ohio State Buckeyes take the field to take on Greg Schiano's Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my quarterback, Joel Klatt, and welcome to Columbus, folks. Wow, Ohio State, every year they continue to do it. Once again, reigning champs. They come into this game #1, undefeated. They're doing it on all sides of the football. Most notably, though, would you like at the quarterback position with Julian Saint?
He's been terrific. I can't wait to see him today because he's going to be without his 2-star wide receivers, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. So we're going to see this young quarterback for the first time without those safety nets on the outside. He's been incredible, Gus. And as a quarterback, you grow up as a young kid. All you dream about is potentially being in the Heisman Trophy race. And this is exactly where Julian Saint has put himself. He's got to just continue to play well. I think today they can lean on the run game. 222 yards against UCLA. They've been getting better as the season has gone on. But we know we can rely on the Ohio State defense. That is the one thing in all of college football that has been the most consistent and the most dominant. This defense has 4 first-round draft picks right down the middle. They've got great players. They've got a great coordinator. And every time we get a chance to see them, it is a joy to watch.
As for Rutgers, they need one more win to become bowl eligible. They have a couple of sensational wide receivers and a running back that can get it done.
That's right, and he had a break last week. It's a good thing Rutgers had a bye, because the last time we saw Rutgers on the field, Antoine Raymond had 41 carries for over 240 yards. I mean, you talk about a day. Get that man in the ice tub. My goodness. Raymond's going to be leaned on again today. I firmly believe that. This is a physical team that Greg Schiano brings in here to Ohio State, and the run game is where it has to start. And then Ethan Kaliak-Manis, their quarterback, to those big wide receivers on the outside. That's the offensive game plan, but it starts with Raymond running the football.
All right, time now to join the third member of our team on the sideline. Let's go downstairs to the AAG. The All-American girl, Jenny Tabb.
Well, guys, you guys have been talking about it. Ohio State has been playing some really good football lately. They've been #1 in the country for a while now, and we all know what's coming next week. It's Michigan. It's that rivalry, but no one wants to talk about that today. I've been told no one is looking past Rutgers. I asked Coach Day to reflect on this group, 17 seniors who were honored on senior day before the game, and he told me what makes this team so special is their identity. They are all business every single day. Why are they all business? Because they still have so much to accomplish. Senior Caden Curry was asked how he wanted to be remembered on senior day, and he said, "It's great that we won a national championship, but remember, we've never won the Gold Pants. We have never won a Big Ten championship." There has never been any complacency with this team, and the last thing Coach Day said to us, the story for this Ohio State team is yet to be written.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. What a spectacular day here in late November. 49 degrees and sunny at kickoff time in a series that dates back to a 2014 meeting here in Columbus. Ohio State has swept all 10 meetings so far. Bucks won the toss, deferred. Rutgers will receive the football. Coach Schiano, who served time with our coach, Urban Meyer, when Coach Meyer was the head coach here with the Buckeyes. He's a winner. Second stint at Rutgers, trying to build the program. Joel, new president, new athletic director. Hope springs eternal for what could possibly be in Piscataway.
And they need that 6th victory, to get to the bowl game. And this is a team that has been to back-to-back bowl games, and no one's had success at Rutgers like Greg Schiano has had at Rutgers. He's such a terrific head coach. And they play disciplined, physical football, and they're going to need to do that here today. And also, Gus, they're going to empty the bag. I firmly believe that you're going to see trick plays, you're going to see special temes fakes. every time these two meet, in particular late in the season, something wild happens. So let's all be prepared for what goes on here today, in particular from the Rutgers side.
Last time they met 2 seasons ago in Piscataway, Bucks won it 35-16. Kyle McCord threw 3 touchdown passes. Ben Black back to receive for the Scarlet Knights. Jaden Fielding will send it away. Senior day here in Columbus. And here we go. And it's fair caught at the 10-yard line. Calliak McManus, transfer from Minnesota. He's a solid player as he steps on the field for the first time.
He's having a really good year. He's the heart of this team, great leader, and he's very good throwing the ball down the field. Second most passing yards per game in the Big Ten, only to Jordan Mailata over at USC. He's got a couple of big targets on the outside, and they will test this Ohio State secondary.
So first down and 10 at the 25 for Rutgers. Antoine Raymond behind Athan, Calliak Manis. And he'll throw it on first down. Sideline throw. Raymond out of the backfield, wrestled right down at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Caden Curry with the tackle. And the starting offense for Rutgers.
Well, this offensive line is physical. They do a nice job in the run game, but it's really about these wide receivers on the outside. KJ Duff and Ian Strong, Gus, they are huge. KJ Duff, 6'6", 225 pounds. Ian Strong, 6'3", 211. They have the matchup and the height advantage on the outside. They're going to have to take advantage of that all day long.
Second down and 10 at the 25. And they'll hand it off. Raymond, not a lot of room as Tywan Malone Jr. gets to him first. Defensively for the Bucks.
Well, this is the best defense in America, and they're great because they're great right down the middle. First-round draft picks right down the middle on all 3 levels. Caleb Downs is terrific.
Rutgers taking a shot down the field and incomplete, intended for Ben Black. And that will force Rutgers to punt it away.
Good coverage right there from the freshman Devin Sanchez. Sanchez out here on the very first series. He's 6'2", 198, so a bit of a height issue for Jermaine Matthews, who plays now in the slot at 5'11". Sanchez comes in there and he gets the task of defending one of these tall receivers. That's good coverage on the outside.
Jacob Anderson will punt it away from his own 11-yard line. Brandon Ennis, the deep man, at the 30. This one, end over end kick. Ennis signals with a fair catch and has it at the 27. 46-yard punt, and that brings on Julian Sand.
I'll tell you what, this guy is as complete and efficient and accurate a passer as we've seen in college football. He leads the country in completion percentage, 17 pass TDs, only the 1 interception. He has been terrific, and I love when we talk with the coaches, and Gus, they always talk about, yeah, hey, listen, he's accurate and he's got a quick release, but his superpower is his mind and how smart he is and how quickly he processes information in the pocket.
First down and 10 for the Buckeyes. At the 27, Bo Jackson in the backfield, the freshman, having a terrific season. And they'll give it to him on first down, and he gets met in the backfield. Bradley Weaver, first man to him offensively for Ohio State.
They're trying to figure out that right side of the offensive line. Tegra Shabola at right guard. He gets the start. He will rotate with Gabe Van Sickle, and then those 2 stars out, Tate and Smith. So it'll be Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham, Bryson Rogers, Max Clare, the tight end. There's Jeremiah Smith, not playing today. They're hoping he's going to be back for next week against Michigan. But look for one of these other stars on the outside to try to step up for the Buckeyes here today.
After the loss of 2, second and 12 at the 25. Delayed handoff. Jackson with room. Look at the wiggle, and he'll pick up a first down. Gain of 14 yards.
Nice job right here. And I think a huge key for this Ohio State run game is that these running backs develop the ability to make one miss. You see a clean blocked run play a lot on film, and then what happens is these young backs get tackled by the first defender there. So the idea of making that first guy miss in order to gain those extra yardage, that's the next step for the Ohio State run game.
Jackson in his last game against UCLA, 15 carries, 112 yards and a touchdown. They give it to him again. running left. And let's take a look at Rutgers on defense.
You know, this is a defense that has struggled. You know, in terms of rush defense, they have been the worst in college football in yards per carry allowed at 6.6, but they've been decimated by injuries. They had 6 scholarship DBs that were out last time they played against Maryland, so they are a patchwork group.
Second down and 8. Sayan will throw it. Sideline throw, caught, not enough for the first. Bennett Christian with the reception, and he'll gain 4.
Got to lean on that run game. I would say this, and you know, we've been watching the film all year of this Ohio State team. They are much better running the football over the left side of their offensive line behind Austin Saravel, Luke Montgomery, Carson Hinsman, the center, versus the right side. So on a short yardage, here we got tight ends over to the left. I would imagine this would go that direction unless they're trying to figure out what they've got over there on the right side.
Third down and 4 at the 46. Opening series for Ohio State. Sayan with time delivers to the sideline. First down, Max Clare, the Purdue transfer. And that's his 32nd catch of the season and a first down for Ohio State.
This is a nice route by Adolph, the wide receiver, because watch, he's going to clear things out, and he's allowing Max Clare to get that space on the outside. Almost a little bit of a pick route, but you don't want to be too obvious. So he's running his route right through the defenders, but that's what opens up that outside space for Clare and Sayan, and an easy completion.
First down from the 49. Jackson breaks free. Jackson, first down, tumbles forward to the 35. Bo Jackson, a gain of 12. Jet Elad with the tackle.
Yeah, now another miss for Rutgers from a tackle perspective, and this is what Ohio State needs to do. There he's in the backfield. He gets some contact runs through it, and he's able to pick up the first.
Jackson comes into this game with 725 yards rushing. Around the corner again. Another first down by Jackson. As that offensive line opening up serious holes for the running game. Another 14-yard gain.
Yeah, and I know you've said it already, Gus, but Jackson has had a really good true freshman year. They didn't even play him against Texas, you know, trying to ease him into his career here at Ohio State, but he has definitely become the featured back. 80 yards per game. That's the second most by a freshman in college football. And every week we see him get better and better. And already today we're seeing him make guys miss, create big plays in the run game.
First down at the 23. Here's the pitch. Isaiah West this time. And he'll get inside the 20 before being dropped. 4-yard gain. And Ohio State continues to move the ball on the ground.
Yeah, I tell you, this is a run game that they've had a real emphasis on the last few weeks, going back to that Purdue game. And they feel good about the way their offensive line is playing, the way their backs are developing, in particular these young guys, Bo Jackson and Isaiah West.
Second and 6. Sayan drops it underneath. Ball caught. Clare again. He gains 8. And when we talked to Julian yesterday, he said, I tell you what, Max Clare is just a great safety valve for me.
Yeah, that's right. So he's going to act like he's blocking right there, and then he just slides through. That's man coverage. When you get inside the 20, Rutgers loves to use that man coverage. That's a great call by Brian Hartline, the offensive coordinator, dragging that tight end across the field against man coverage.
10th play of the drive that started at the Ohio State 27. First down at the Rutgers 11. Here's a pitch out wide to Jackson. Turns it up. And almost a touchdown. He's down inside the 1. Jacoby Henderson with the saving tackle.
Yeah, Henderson saves the touchdown here. Great job by that offensive line up front. You see up in front, Phillip Daniels, number 70. And Jackson just can't quite reach out for that goal line. He's going to be stopped at the 1-yard line. That was a really nice job by the right tackle, Phillip Daniels. Out in space as a big man getting a block. Jackson already 6 carries, 50 yards. Opening drive for the Bucks. Out of the I formation, first and goal at the 1. They give it to Bojack straight ahead, and he lost it. And turned away. Rutgers says they have the ball. I saw what you saw. I saw him kind of go down without the football. as he ran into the pile when he got driven back. Gus, you saw both arms.
It's a fumble recovered by the defense in the end zone for a touchback first down.
So as Jackson gets hit, you'll see that football comes loose, and it's down, it's on the ground. He's definitely up. There's no doubt. What a huge turnover for Rutgers. Long drive for Ohio State, but a mistake by the young back. Scarlet Knights with the ball when we come back.
Time for today's Game Flow, sponsored by Progressive. Senior Day here at Ohio State. Ryan Day and the Buckeyes, top of the table in the nation. #1 team, undefeated, as Ohio State turns the football over. Rutgers has it, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And here's Raymond running straight ahead. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Sonny Styles. Let's go downstairs to Jen.
Gus, as expected, Coach Schiano so fired up with the way his defense started the game. He pulled them all together. He said, that was what we need. We set the edge, we press him, and we tackle. He said it again, set the edge, press him, tackle. That was awesome. Keep that going, guys.
All right, Jen. Coach Schiano, we had a chance to talk to him on our conference call this week. Still positive, hopeful, and determined that this Rutgers program is going to continue to get better. 2nd and 9, sidearm throw caught at the 30-yard line. Terrific job. Sheffield with his 41st catch of the year.
Yeah, he's the small slot receiver, 5'10", but quick. Beautiful ball from Kaliak Manis over there on the corner. And this is a big drive right here for Rutgers. Build on that confidence and the momentum that their defense created with the turnover.
3rd down and 1. Rutgers looking for that first down. Can they push the pile forward with Raymond? And it looks like he has the first down. Little wrestling going on at the bottom of the pile. Antoine Raymond, 200 yards rushing and 1,000 yards coming into this game.
Yeah, he's going to be a yard short there. So 4th down, and Rutgers will stay on the field.
Scarlet Knights decide to go for it.
I think Greg's over there is just going to take a timeout here. And that's what he's going to do.
We'll step away, 4th and 1. Coming up next on Fox, we've got a Big 12 showdown as TCU battles Houston. Houston having a great year. Then at 8 Eastern, BYU makes their push for the playoffs as they take on Cincinnati. It's all right here on Fox.
That's going to be a great game. I'll tell you, that BYU team, Kalani Sitake does not get enough credit as a head coach, Gus.
I agree with you 100%. We were there last year.
Yeah, it's always a tough team, right in the thick of things, control their own fate to get to the Big 12 championship game.
Rutgers going forward on 4th down and 1. Raymond in the backfield with Kaliak Manis. And they snap it. Raymond breaks it back, and he won't get it. Jalen McClain gets there.
Well, first the defensive line does a great job forming a wall, and then you've got all the flow from the linebackers and second level, and they're right there. McClain comes up to clean things up with Arvell Reese. Big 4th down stop for Ohio State and a short field for their offense coming up.
Caden Curry getting a piece. All right, let's take a look at the current Big Ten standings sponsored by Discover. And don't forget to tune in to the Discover Big Ten Championship game presented by Discover, December 6th on Fox. Partner, what do you see?
Well, I'll tell you, Indiana, Ohio State look like they're on a collision course for that Big Ten championship. And then that Oregon USC game later tonight is going to be an absolute monster. And then lurking, look at those Michigan Wolverines, 8-2, 6-1, still with a chance, obviously, at a playoff berth, outside chance to get themselves to Indianapolis with some craziness ahead of them.
First down and 10 of the 29 now for the Buckeyes on offense. And they run the reverse with Peoples. Peoples are pounded forward. James Peoples, sophomore from San Antonio, Texas. Backup running back, came into this game with 58 carries. He gained 6.
I thought his best game was last week against UCLA. Had that incredible run over on the right side, hurdled an opponent for the Bruins, got himself into the end zone. They're quietly developing a really good stable of backs, and here Bo Jackson in the game after that fumble. So Ryan Day showing some confidence in his young player.
2nd and 4. Jackson, and he'll be tackled behind the line of scrimmage. DJ Jabome with the stop. A loss of 2. Let's go downstairs to Jen.
And following that fumble from Bo Jackson, he was first supported by C.J. Donaldson on the sideline. He put his arm around him with that young running back. But I got to be honest, guys, Coach Day, this is the most upset I have seen him in a long time. His words were simple. They were harsh. They were direct. Do your job.
All right, 3rd down and 6 at the 25. Donaldson. Here's Sayin with time. Sayin rolls out, buys time, and finally just steps out of bounds. A flag on the play. Inside the 20-yard line. Eric O'Neal with pressure.
I would not be surprised if they called a defensive holding here.
Holding. Defense number 10. 10-yard penalty enforced at the end of the run. 1st down.
That's Jacoby Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson was the far side corner, and he was working against 82. That's David Adolph getting a chance to play with Smith and Tate out. And there you see the hold as he's driving him inside. And that's the way that Julian Sayin was initially looking. He wanted to come back to that right side, and he had to scramble outside of the pocket. Draws the attention of the official right there, and the grab on the outside, and it's a 1st down Buckeyes.
Sayin 23 for 31, 184 yards and a touchdown against UCLA last week. 1st and 10 at the 15. Jackson remains in the game as the pistol. Jackson straight ahead. Touchdown. Bo Jackson. 4th rushing touchdown of the season for the freshman. 15 yards.
I'll tell you, this is a great job by Luke Montgomery and then Bennett Christian. They're going to be pulling from the left side, the guard and the tight end. Watch them get these blocks. First, it's that hook block by Montgomery, and now Christian's coming in, and boom, that's the block that springs Jackson, and they're making a guy miss. That's Jet Elad, the safety. It's a total whiff in the secondary, and the Buckeyes are on the board.
Jaden Fielding in for the extra point. And it's good. After the 4th down stop, Ohio State goes 3 plays covering 29 yards to take a 7-0 lead over Rutgers. And welcome back, 7-0 Ohio State. After fumbling on their first series, Buckeyes stop Rutgers on a 4th and 1 and march it right down the field. Bo Jackson, they got his confidence back quickly after the fumble.
Yeah, I mean, that's important for a young player, and Coach Day knows it. He's hard on him on the sideline. Jenny, great report talking about, you know, the Ryan Day motivation on the side, doing your job, and goes right back to Bo Jackson for a touchdown.
And this one fair caught inside the 5.
Here's a look at our reliable performer, sponsored by AT&T Business. Reliability that you can count on, and something that we've all been able to count on watching Ohio State all year is Arvell Reese. 58 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. This guy is a one-man wrecking crew, and he's developed. You know, he wasn't even a starter last year. He comes in, this is his first year starting, and he has developed himself into, Gus, what I think will be a top 2 or 3 pick in the NFL draft in the spring. He's that good, he's that disruptive, and Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, uses him all over the field. Just like right here, he's all the way lined up as kind of a defensive end on the top.
1st down at the 25. Kaliak Manis with time. Scrambles out of the pocket, throws on the move to the sideline. Ian Strong with the catch. but there is a flag on the play.
Yeah, Ian Strong stepped out of bounds and then was the first to touch the ball. He was not forced out over there. You can see the officials with their hats off.
Number 9 of the offense went out of bounds, returned to catch the pass, which is illegal touching. So lost it down at the previous spot. It's second down.
Kind of the signal. Those of you watching, if the official removes his hat and throws it, that's a signal that the player stepped out of bounds, and again, not forced out of bounds. Couldn't recreate. So there he is. He steps out barely. I mean, that was very close. You can see all the staff for Ohio State pointing at the sideline right away.
Ian Strong having a fine year, close to 50 catches for over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. Second down and 10 of the 25. Callie McManus dumps it down, and this ball caught and out of bounds goes Kenny Fletcher Jr. And he'll pick up 9.
We're right back where we were on the last series. 3rd and short. And this is where Rutgers struggled. A couple of runs, failed to get the first down. Gotta figure out something. I think you got to get the ball in the perimeter against this defense. Like I said, Gus, 4 first-round picks right down the middle. You've got to get the ball on the outside. Use a little tempo to do it.
3rd down and 1 at the 34. Callie McManus sprints out. He'll try to get the first down himself, and he does. As he slides forward close to the 40. A 3-yard gain, first down, Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, first I love the play call from Kirk Soraka, the offensive coordinator. And then it's a good decision from Callie McManus, who gets on the outside, and Reese did a great job of covering the intended receiver on the outside. So Callie McManus just takes it himself, dives for the first down.
From the 37. Callie McManus drops it down. Ball knocked away, picked up. Let's see. Incomplete is the call. But Lorenzo Styles Jr. delivering a blow.
And he was sitting there the whole time. So here's Styles right here. And as the route comes out of the backfield, he's waiting for him the whole time. Ill-advised throw, pretty clearly incomplete there, as Styles was able to hit that ball right when it arrived, as Raymond was trying to get the ball outside, and a bit of a late hit on the quarterback. No flag comes out there as Curry knocked over Callie McManus. 2nd and 10 at the 37. Callie McManus delivers the deep ball down the sideline, and incomplete. Igmignosin in coverage. Ball intended for KJ Duff. That's pretty good coverage down the field. First of all, Igmignosin is on top, so he's got good leverage. And then as he contacts the wide receiver, he's able to let go and locate the ball. The flag does not come out. He's done a great job this year, Igmignosin. Last year, the most penalized defender in all of college football, 16 penalties. This year, he's cut him way down. Only 3 penalties on Igmignosin on the outside. He's become a real strength for them. 3rd down and 10 at the 37. Callie McManus. Nice throw, great catch, KJ Duff. First down, Scarlet Knights. That's the 54th catch of the season for Duff, and he's got 923 yards receiving, gain of 12. I mean, he had a monster game a few weeks ago against Purdue. He's a heck of a wide receiver. You know, just a sophomore, he had 6 catches for 241 against Purdue. He's a matchup nightmare for a defense at 6'6". He's, again, 225, and I'm looking out there, I'm always thinking to myself, okay, who's covering him? Well, on the outside, that's Jermaine Matthews. Jermaine Matthews is only 5'11". He's in single coverage. I'd go right back to Duff right here. You've got a one-on-one. Why not take a shot to your big wide receiver? First down to the 49. Play clock winding down. They get it off. Brown with a hole, and he'll get forward. Pierce with the tackle. They give him 5. Rutgers finding a little rhythm on this series. And when you do find rhythm against this defense, you've got to take advantage. Anytime you cross the 50, you got to think to yourself, all right, how in the world can we score? This is a defense that is historically good right now in terms of scoring defense, and you've got to capitalize on your opportunities. 2nd and 5 at the 46. Samuel Brown remains in the game.
Kaliakmanis, play fake, steps up. Oh, he gets ripped down by Caden Curry. Woo! Now that is strength.
Well, just a great job. First he contacts the tackle, and then he wins after the contact. Rips by him. Great job getting to Kaliakmanis, and the strength of that one hand, grabbing him by the jersey, Gus, like you said, and dragging him down with one hand.
8th sack of the season for Caden Curry, having his best year. Makes it 3rd down and 11. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Big 3rd down coming up for Rutgers. Ohio State on top, 7-0.
Coach, thanks for taking the time. Obviously a tough hit right there for Ethan Kaliakmanis. How do you get this offense going?
Well, I think they're really stout up front, so we're going to have to be able to throw the ball a little bit to open up the run game, but our guys are fighting. That's all I ask.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. 99 wins for Coach Schiano. He has the most in Rutgers history. His team facing a 3rd down and 11 now at the 49. They're 2 of 2 on 3rd downs on this drive. Kaliakmanis steps up in the pocket, wants to run it, and it'll go down in front of Sonny Styles. So that brings up 4th down after a 5-yard gain, and a decision now for Coach Schiano.
Gets across the 50, and that's no man's land. You really don't want to punt this ball away, and at least Kaliakmanis provided a much more manageable 4th down scenario here at 4th and 6. So the offense will stay on the field, and they'll go for it for the 2nd time here today.
4th down and 6 yards to go at the 46-yard line. Kaliakmanis guns it, incomplete. And a flag thrown late. KJ Duff, the target, Jermaine Matthews Jr. in coverage.
Well, there's that mismatch height-wise, and so here's the matchup on the outside. You've got Matthews and Duff.
Defense number 7, 1st down at the spot of the foul.
That one looks a little questionable.
Yeah, that's not a great call, because he wasn't hindering his ability to catch the ball. He was just standing right in front of him. You don't have to turn around. You know, you just can't create the contact that hinders his ability to catch it. I guess they're saying his hands were on him. Not a great call there.
So a 1st down for Rutgers at the 41. Kaliakmanis with the handoff, and Brown slicing through the defense, picks up 4.
Nice physical run right there from Samuel Brown. He had an ACL injury last year, has come back, and he provides them a little slasher type of runner. You can see he got physical there and got himself into the middle of that line of scrimmage for 4.
Senior from Philadelphia, 2nd and 6. Here comes a blitz. They hand it off. Brown looking for daylight, bursting through. And he'll get close to that first down marker. On 2nd and 6, he picks up 5.
Yeah, he did a great job here of being patient. And then 54, Taj White. He sealed the edge, and Caden Curry couldn't get out there. And that's Downs that had to make the tackle.
And Rutgers stays on the ground. Brown with a 1st down. Rutgers very effective moving the football on this series.
Their offensive line has done a nice job. When you watch the film, in particular in their last ball game against Maryland, that offensive line was physical, and they just kept at it. And the middle 3, I think, are their best guys. Brian Felter, the left guard, Zelinskis, the center, and Asamoah, the right guard. Those are the guys that are the most physical, and they're doing a good job right now.
12th play of the drive that started at the 25. 1st down at the Ohio State 30. Kaliakmanis goes through his progressions, drops it off. Ball knocked away. Do they rule this a catch? No, incomplete. Sonny Styles this time dislodging that football.
So Colin Weber right here, you wonder, does he ever have control? And no, clearly doesn't have control. And Styles was there for the hit and knocked it away from Colin Weber, the tight end, transferred in from Charlotte this year. He is a senior. Styles, Johnny on the spot there.
2nd down and 10 at the Ohio State 30. Kaliakmanis has to look for those big receivers. KJ Duff, Ian Strong rolls out, dumps it down. Fletcher breaks the tackle and tumbles forward at the 25.
And Lorenzo Styles is down. There was a monster collision right there. He was the first Buckeye to come up in support.
And he's in some pain.
Here's Fletcher, and that right shoulder bears the brunt of the hit. Wow. Pacific Life Game Summary is sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 years. 7-0 Buckeyes here. Julian Sayin, 3 of 3 for 18 yards. It's been mostly the ground game. Bo Jackson, 7.1 per and a touchdown. But Kaliakmanis has this Rutgers offense driving. The defense did force one turnover. Lorenzo Styles off. He was being helped off the field after that last play.
Rutgers on a 13-play, 49-yard drive. Kaliakmanis incomplete. Sheffield, the target. Bryce West in coverage, but the best defense has been the offense right now from Rutgers. They've held the ball for close to 7 minutes.
Yeah, that was a nice long drive, and they got the run game going, just unable to connect there on 3rd down. Bryce West was in coverage. The sophomore came in for Lorenzo Styles. They attacked him right away. I love that strategy from Rutgers, but just unable to connect.
Jay Patel comes in to attempt the field goal, 12 of 17 on the season. This one from 44 yards away. It's his number. Got it up. And good. Rutgers with 11:50 to go in the 2nd quarter on the board. 7-3, Ohio State. Tomorrow, Fox NFL doubleheader starts with Justin Jefferson and the Vikings taking on Jordan Love and the Packers, or other regional action. Then in America's Game of the Week, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles battle Dak Prescott and the Cowboys or Falcons Saints. Check local listings for the games in your area only on Fox.
All right, how you feeling about your Lions this year? How you feeling?
I just don't understand. We score 44 points against the Commanders and then come back and score only 9 against the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles are good.
9 points.
Do you think you can beat the Eagles in the playoffs?
I don't know anything anymore. As Socrates would say, the one thing I know is I know nothing. But I do know I'm trying to get some tickets for that game. If you know anybody, next week we go to Michigan.
We may know somebody.
We might know. I'm going to go online and see if I can find some. This ball kicked out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds, kicking team number 93. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line, or it'll be 1st and 10.
Well, time now for our Heisman Watch, sponsored by Nissan, the premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. And 3 guys have really separated themselves out here this college football year, and 2 more particularly. Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sayin, the Buckeyes quarterback here. Marcel Reed has been playing well, came back against South Carolina, led that big comeback. But Mendoza and Sayin look like they're on that collision course for the Big Ten title game. I really believe that we're going to see that game. Winner is going to win the Heisman Trophy, and I think that's probably the way it should be with those 2 and how they've played this year.
1st down and 10 at the 35, and Jackson, and he's ambushed in the backfield. Bradley Weaver, the senior from Hillard, Ohio, with the stop, a loss of 3.
Yeah, that's a really tough block for Brandon Innes. They're asking the wide receiver to come in and block the defensive end. And listen, I'm all for courage there, but someone told me that's a mismatch.
6'4", 267 Weaver. Innes, 6 feet, 199 pounds. 2nd and 13 at the 32. Sayin Under pressure, on the move, incomplete. Knocked away at the end. Ennis was the target. Cam Miller, the Penn State transfer.
Yeah. Really good coverage, you know, and right in the hip pocket of Ennis. And these are always those plays, you know, if you got Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, they always win on the outside. Ennis is a really good player, but he's not Tate or Smith. And you're starting to see that. Normally, Ohio State can come out and just pitch and catch at ease in this passing game. It's been a little bit more difficult, and the O-line is not playing great, in particular in pass protection.
3rd down and 13. Sayin steps into his throw. And incomplete. Unable to hold on to that football, David Adolph. And Ohio State will have to punt it away.
He runs a good route. And Sayin does a great job of stepping away from the little pressure that showed up in the pocket. And he delivers a really catchable ball, and Adolph just drops it, and they're going to have to punt it away.
Eric O'Neal with pressure for Rutgers. And this is the first punt of the game for the Buckeyes. Joe McGuire from the 17. Sheffield, the deep man for Rutgers. And he has it at the 25. 44-yard punt. Coming up, Rutgers down 7-3 with the football. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. A scrappy bunch of Rutgers Scarlet Knights hanging tough with the #1 team in the nation. The reigning national champion, 7-3, 10:50 to play in the second quarter. Rutgers with the football again. Callie McManus, the leader. He'll hand it off. Raymond with room. Raymond dragging defenders. McClain finally brings him to the turf. But it's a 9-yard pickup.
And they're moving the ball on a defense that has been outstanding. This defense, there's only one team in the last 35 years that's allowed fewer points through 10 games than this Ohio State team. That was the 2011 Alabama squad that went on to win the national title. So they've been historically good, but Rutgers has been able to move the ball just a little bit.
2nd and 2 at the 32. And Raymond trying to lean forward. This time Zion Grady gets him. Only a 1-yard pickup, so 3rd down.
You see some of the great defenses since 1990. Bama only 7.1 per game through 10 games. There's Matt Patricia on a historic run here with this Ohio State group. All these defenses, you know, Bama won the national championship. 23 Michigan won the national championship. 21 Georgia won the national championship. So, you know, this team certainly has an upward trajectory, but a nice 3rd down opportunity here.
3rd down and 1. Rutgers 3 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Callie McManus goes up top. Incomplete. Fletcher broke open late in front of Caleb Downs, and Callie McManus unable to put it on him.
I tell you, he had him there because he's behind the coverage, and Downs is trying to recover, but he leads him way too far to the left. You could tell that Fletcher wanted to go more up the field, straight down the field, and he had Downs, who had come down because of that play fake and was trying to recover on Fletcher, who came from the tight end position.
So Jacob Anderson will punt it away inside his own 20. Brandon Ennis, the deep man, at the 22. Remember, Rutgers can be tricky. They fake. And they kick it away. Looks like he thought about it, Joel. I don't know.
He sure did. Look at this punt.
And look at it. Down at the 1-yard line.
What a
job by Jacob Anderson. A 66-yard punt.
He had the slow roll over to the right side, didn't he, partner?
I didn't know for a second.
You're like, is he going to? Is he going to? And then boots a beautiful ball down there.
You think that was an option? to run it if he saw something?
With Greg Schiano, it's always an option. It's always an option.
It can be tricky.
But they had covered it up well, the punt return unit for Ohio State. But what a beautiful kick. And that's one of the reasons that coaches will always tell the return man, hey, if you can catch the ball, because as soon as it hits the ground, only bad things happen for the returning team. And this one bounces all the way inside the 5.
So Julian Sayin and the Buckeye offense started their own 2. They hand it off straight ahead to Jackson, and he runs into a pile. Rutgers, this defense now, you can see that they're inspired.
Yeah, they are. And the last series, they played great up front. They got pressure in the backfield all 3 snaps. A tackle for loss on the first run play, pressure in Sayin's face on 2nd and 3rd down, and here a nice stand at the line of scrimmage. And these guys have got to play well, and in particular in a series like this, because this is what can set up an offense for Rutgers with great field position. So this is when you need to be as aggressive as possible as a defensive play caller.
2nd and 9. They'll hand it off again. Donaldson this time, not a lot. Gang tackling. Masgo. Jabome combining. So a big 3rd down for the Rutgers defense. They'd love nothing more than to get off the field here.
Well, and who's the guy that you go to on the outside? And Greg Schiano knows that without Tate and without Smith, Ohio State's got to figure out who's the target on 3rd down. I would think it's got to be a guy like Max Clare. Max Clare is right here in the slot. All-American tight end.
3rd and 6 at the 6. Sayin looking underneath, caught, and a 1st down, Ohio State. David Adolph, the senior, picks up 9.
He comes back. He had the drop on the last series, and he comes back right here. Just a hook route right over the ball. And as soon as those linebackers get any depth at all, Sayin immediately goes to him right on the middle of the field. All his completions have been to the tight ends until that one right there to Adolph. So finally a wide receiver on the board for Ohio State.
And if you weren't with us at the top of our broadcast, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, the 2 tremendous receivers for Ohio State are out today because of injuries. Sayin again, got it away at the last moment. Under pressure by Eric O'Neal. He was an eye blink away from Julian Sayin.
O'Neal had a monster game 2 weeks ago against Maryland. I mean, he was so close to Sayin. He had 10 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. And look, oh my goodness, he almost got that ball. That would have been disastrous for Ohio State. O'Neal was a transfer from James Madison, was only there for 1 year, so never actually played for Kurt Cignetti before Cignetti left to Indiana. But I tell you, that was close on that play.
2nd and 10 at the 15. Julian Sayin letting it fly now. Here's a screen. Jackson with space. And Bo Jackson, nice run after the catch. Gets to the 30-yard line for a 14-yard pickup.
Yeah, nice job by that offensive line on that left side. In particular, 51, Luke Montgomery. Watch Luke Montgomery. He's going to get out. There's Hinsman, the center. They get a block. 51 does a nice job. Adolph, 82, gets a block. There's Hinsman just shielding their guys enough so that Bo Jackson can find the line to gain and move the chains. And we do have a Rutgers defender that's down on the far side. You know, it's been a tough go for this offense after the first series. They ran the ball so efficiently on the first series, and Gus, we haven't seen them get the passing game going outside of maybe a tight end here or there. Good call to go to a screen pass, use that aggressiveness against the Rutgers defensive line.
Abram Wright is the injured player for Rutgers. And while they tend to him, we will step away. 7-3, 6:44 to go. And right now, Abram Wright, they help him get up. Walks off the field on his own. That's a good sign. Young man, a junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Went to Fleming Island High School. And he'll go into a tent. We'll take a look at it. So Ohio State faced with the 1st down and 10 now. At the 29-yard line. Julian Sayin, 5 of 8, 41 yards so far. C.J. Donaldson checks in at running back. Play fake. Sayin pulls it out over the middle, and it's caught. Claire, head of steam, midfield. Now Claire still running. Finally tripped up deep inside Rutgers territory. That's a gain of 40.
Well, you get action going this way. That's James People. So you got 2 backs in the backfield, and then you just sneak the tight end out, a little man coverage right there, and there's Claire. And again, this is probably the most reliable guy that they have on the outside without Smith and Tate on the field. Claire transfers in from Purdue. He was an All-American a year ago with 881 yards, and Julian saying, get on going, fella. Get down the field.
Max Claire, a big dude, 6'5", 243. First down at the 32. West, nothing. He gets knocked backwards. Bo Masco sticking his nose in there. The junior from Kissimmee, Florida.
You know, I think the surprising part right now is that this rush defense for Rutgers has been the worst in college football. 6.5 yards per carry they've been giving up. And so far here after that first series, they've been pretty good against the run after that first series. Bo Jackson's got his yards, 62 already. In the last couple of series, it's been tougher.
Second down, Sayin dancing in the pocket. Guns it sidearm, and it's caught by Ennis. Brandon Ennis, they give him 3.
Right here, good time in the pocket from the offensive line. You can see the coverage is tight, but look how accurate that ball is from Sayin. That's what I'm most impressed with when I watch Julian Sayin, is that the ball is on time and on target. And as a quarterback, that's really the bottom line. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how strong your arm is or any arm angle. Is the ball on time and on target? And with number 10, it normally is.
Third down and 7 at the 29. Sayin. Sideline caught. Claire again trying to fight for extra yardage. He will not get the first down.
I'll tell you, he's going to want this one back. Watch Brandon Ennis right here, number 1. He beats the coverage. He's wide open. That's a touchdown. His arm is up. And Sayin had already left that part of the progression and goes down to his tight end, Max Claire. You know, sometimes he goes quickly and he can miss those guys down the field. And right now they did run on the field. Lincoln Keenholz, the backup quarterback, will take the next snap.
Fourth down and 2. Donaldson in the backfield. And a timeout, Ohio State.
Ohio State, their first 30 seconds.
And we'll stay right here.
You know, that's, as a young player, Julian Sayin does a great job taking care of the football. There's no doubt. And you would never coach this out of a guy, but his future development, the more he starts, the more he sees, the more he'll just hang on just a bit on those plays, in particular when he's got a shot down the field. Because, Gus, on film, there are moments when there is something open down the field, but he gets to a check down. Now, as a coach, that's tough, because guess what it is? It's completion, you're moving the chains, you're creating better situations for your offense. But there are those moments where he can take more shots, and I think that that's a progression that they would need moving into the playoff. Facing Michigan next week, possibly a Big Ten championship game against Indiana. And that last third down was a big example. That's a touchdown left on the board.
Keenholz will remain in the game at quarterback on 4th down and 2 at the 24 of Rutgers. Keenholz, a junior from South Dakota. 4th and 2. Tight formation. Now they spread it out. Trips up top. Keenholz sprints out that side. Looking. Incomplete. And Rutgers will turn them over on downs. Bennett Christian, the target, but there is a flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 94. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, my goodness. What a mistake from Rutgers. I mean, the play call, I mean, I got to tell you, this is fascinating. You put in a backup quarterback, you got a Heisman Trophy contender, but here you see that late. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Weaver goes in, hits him with the shoulder. The flag's going to come out. There's no doubt. And you can see in the back end, you can see Kaj Sanders, who made a great play on the ball, defending Bennett Christian. He's looking, he's like, no way we gave up a free first down. You cannot do that if you're Bradley Weaver.
So instead of getting the football back, the Ohio State drive extended, 1st and 10 at the 12. Keenholz gives it up, West, and he'll go out of bounds. It's a 5-yard gain.
So Keenholz getting a little run right there, and I will say, you know, I know it's a tight ball game, it's 7-3, but if you're going to play Lincoln Keenholz in big short yardage situations down the stretch in major games like a playoff game, you better put on film that you have a willingness to throw the ball. And so that's one of the things. Maybe that's a play call right there that is for the film for the future. But at 7-3, that, I mean, that's that's an interesting time to put something on film.
11th play of the drive. It started at the 2. Play fake, Sayin in the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Ennis!
I mean, what a throw. It's a beautiful throw, and Ennis has that foot down. Does he maintain control through the process of going to the ground? It looks like he does. There's control. He's got that left foot down, and then he's just got to control it. He's got it in that left hand. Official is all over it. What a catch. I tell you what, where do these guys come from around here?
Tell you what, second receiving touchdown of the year for Brandon Ennis.
There's Carnell and Jeremiah giving their guys some love. It's normally those two making those catches, Gus.
Fielding, extra point. And it's good. Ohio State goes on an 11-play, 98-yard drive. They eat up 6 minutes and 50 seconds to take a 14-3 lead.
I mean, that was such a good throw and great concentration by Ennis. And this is what's so wild, right? It's like you've got two guys that are two of the best receivers in college football. As you saw a shot of Weaver, he had that big penalty on 3rd down. And then here's Ennis, clearly the 3rd option at wide receiver, right, Gus?
Yes.
Well, he was the 35th overall player in his class when he came out as a recruit. Wow. So as a junior, he's waited his time, but every one of these guys.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of Abeka Abuka,
yeah,
because he had Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, and he ended up being drafted in the top 20.
Emeka was such a good player for a number of years, whereas this is really Ennis's first opportunity to be a starter. You look at what they've got in their room right now. All 5-star players: Tate, Ennis, Jeremiah Smith, Mylan Graham not playing today, Quincy Porter not playing today, and Mylan Graham. So it's just lined up, man, like airplanes on a tarmac ready to take off. And these guys are so good, and Ennis is a guy that, from a leadership perspective, has stepped up. Even though he hasn't had huge production through his career, he's a captain on this team for a reason, and they all love him.
So Rutgers with a golden opportunity squandered with the penalty.
Yeah. You just can't do that. You know, and I know that there are some of you out there that are like, that's not passive. I understand. Listen, I get that. You know, Tom Brady hates it. He thinks the game has gone soft, right? But it's like a strike zone in baseball. If the umpire is calling it off the plate on the outside, guess what it is that day? It's a strike. And that is roughing the passer, and so you just can't do it.
First down to the 25 for Rutgers. Handoff, Raymond, all sorts of running room. McClain stops him. They give him 12.
They've been able to run the football here and there. You know, on some first downs, that one on a nice first down, Raymond's able to get loose, make one miss, physical finish. See if they can get one off before the 2-minute timeout. It doesn't look like they will.
That was the longest rush of the game, and that will take us to the 2-minute timeout. With the score 14-3, Rutgers fighting hard against the #1 team in America. Very much. 2 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. 14-3 our score. Ohio State leading Rutgers. First down for the Scarlet Knights at the 37. Raymond hit as he's given the ball, no gain. Bo Atkinson, first man to him. Senior from Raleigh, North Carolina, UNC transfer. 2nd and 10. Kelly McManus pulls it down, now fires back, and Igbenogson stretching out. Strong, the intended receiver.
That's great coverage by Igbenogson. He was right in his hip pocket. He was able to get over the top, just bat that ball away nice and calm.
Ohio State leading it 14-3. 1:39 to go. Here's Callie McManus, the deep ball, and picked up by Igbenogson. But there is a flag, and this may be pass interference.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 96. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
They get Edric Houston in the middle of that defensive line. That's going to wipe out the interception. So there's Houston right in the middle, right here. And you can see he gets his hands right up into the face. There's no doubt. Right into the helmet of the center. Right side of the screen. There he is. Right hand up into the face of Gus Zielinskis. And Rutgers were still on the field. We saw a big penalty from Rutgers to keep Ohio State on the field. And now the favor is returned from the Buckeyes here in Edric Houston.
First down from the Ohio State 48 for Rutgers. Here's the handoff. Brown tries to turn it back and is bottled up and taken down. Houston makes up for the penalty. That's a loss of 2.
Yeah, still a lot of time here with 1:21 left and counting. Couple of timeouts. Don't have to go super quick, but they are. I mean, they are going fast.
Callie McManus, sideline, wide open target. Out of bounds goes Sheffield, and the clock stops at 1:10.
Ohio State got caught up in a similar route that we saw Ohio State run earlier on offense. And on that side, it's Devin Sanchez, the youngster, and Jermaine Matthews. They both went with the same guy. It's an easy completion.
3rd and 2 at the 40. Callie McManus in trouble and goes down. The pocket collapsed. Styles, Caden McDonald combining. 2nd sack of the day for Ohio State.
I'm surprised Ohio State's not taking a timeout. I don't know why they've got 2 left. Just looking to. Rutgers going to go for it here.
4th down and 9.
Prior to the snap, timeout. Ohio State, their second. 30 seconds.
Wait, why would Rutgers go for this at 4th and 9? First of all, I thought Ohio State would take a timeout almost immediately, Gus. They forced the 4th down. They're going to get the ball back, at least you would assume. And there was about I felt like 15 seconds came out. There was about 50 seconds left on the clock. And they didn't. I think that they didn't call a timeout because they didn't see the punt unit for Rutgers start to jog on the field. And Rutgers kept their offense on the field and looked like they were going to snap the ball at 4th and 9, which I don't understand at all, because you get one incompletion, the clock would stop at about 30 seconds left, and Ohio State would need at best, 12, 13 yards to try to kick a field goal and get points going the opposite direction. That was a weird sequence, and now the punt team will come on the field for Rutgers.
Anderson, last time He kicked the ball. It was a 60-plus yard punt. Gets it away. Ennis lets it go over his head. No, excuse me, Ennis catches it. Pardon me, folks, lost that one in the sun. 37-yard punt.
That's why I was surprised they didn't take that timeout earlier, because I would have thought they would have had about 40 seconds here. They do get the ball to start the second half, and so maybe they'll try a screen or a draw, maybe a tight end screen here, just to see if it pops. Maybe even take a knee and just
go into the locker room, leading at 14-3. Are you surprised with how gritty this Rutgers team has played, or that Ohio State only has 14 points against the Scarlet Knights?
Well, a couple of drives for Ohio State came up short.
And they'll hand it off. Peoples gets back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
They drove down, fumbled on the 1-yard line. That's a drive that could have very well ended up in the end zone, and they punted it away on a 3-and-out. And I know Ryan Day well enough to know that he's going to go in there and get after his group.
Ohio State 43-1 at home when leading at the break. Mike Hill, Chris Peterson, and Bruce Feldman standing by with the State Farm halftime show from Los Angeles. Along with my QB, Joel Klatt. Welcome back. In that first half, you got to give Rutgers a lot of credit. They're taking on the best team in the nation, and they fought hard with some opportunities and also a self-inflicted wound.
Yeah, without that penalty, the roughing the passer, they're right there against Ohio State. I thought they played well at the line of scrimmage, but early in the game, it was Ohio State able to establish the run that allowed them to drive down the field and ultimately get into the end zone. Bo Jackson had a nice first half. He ran for 62 yards, over 5.5 per carry. He was into the end zone from 15 yards out. And then there's that penalty that we were just discussing, Gus. Jared Weaver, he hits Keen Holtz, who was in for a couple of snaps for Julian Sayin. That extended the drive on a big third down stop. And then, boom, there's Brandon Ennis. Corner of the end zone, beautiful throw, beautiful catch. And Ohio State extended the lead. You can see the yardage. It's been tough sledding for Rutgers against this very good defense of Ohio State. But I do give Rutgers a lot of credit. I thought in the second quarter they got some run game going, but they have not been able to hit those big pass plays down the field to their tall wide receivers. And you got to give Ohio State defensive backs a lot of credit for that. That's where Rutgers has got to improve in this second half if they want to come back.
Rutgers on the season, 5-5, 2-5 in Big Ten play. They need one more win to become bowl eligible. Scarlet Knights will face Penn State at home in their final regular season game. So Ohio State will receive to start the second half. And we've seen a different Ohio State team in the first half offensively, Joel, without Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Julian Sayin has been checking that ball down to the tight end a lot.
Yeah, 5 for 5 to the tight ends. And how about a little trickery?
So that ball is line. Picked up and out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Brandon Ennis threw it to James Peoples.
Well, I told you at the beginning of this broadcast that something funky was going to happen on special teams. Normally it's the Rutgers side, but here Ryan Day dials up a little trickery on the opening kick of this second half, and it backfires, and now they're going to be backed up way inside of the 10-yard line for this offense.
They lost 12 yards.
And that could have been disastrous. They're lucky that Peoples was able to go back there and recover that. That's obviously a live ball.
So it's first down and 10 at the 9-yard line for Ohio State. Jackson on the edge. And Jackson close to a first down. Looks like he'll get it. Let's go downstairs to Jenny.
Well, you know what? Coach Day didn't tell me he was going to try that. He did bring up his frustration from some of those drives that came up short in the first half. He did highlight that fumble, of course, at the red zone. And he said those are the kind of mistakes that lose you games. It should be 21-3. But right now, we get the ball in the second half, and I need to see the effort in the first 4 minutes. Now, Coach Schiano told me it was those critical errors. You guys mentioned that roughing the passer penalty. He said that was a killer for us. We have to figure out how to handle their tight end. We tried to clean up a lot, but our guys are playing hard, and that will continue.
All right, Jen, first down and 10 of the 22. Here comes a blitz. Jackson, and they gobble him up immediately. That'll be a loss of 3 yards.
You just look at all the players up near the line of scrimmage.
Eric O'Neal.
Because, again, there's no threat outside. They haven't thrown the football down the field. Everything that they've thrown has been short. Saying 9 of 12 for 95 yards. Haven't even hit the 100-yard mark because they don't have Tate. They don't have Smith. They can't get the ball down the field. So a lot of aggressive, low safety play from this Rutgers defense.
Second and 13 at the 19. Sayin guns it. Nice throw. Nice catch. Adolph, who's done a fine job in for Jeremiah Smith. He gains 14.
Brian Hartline was excited to see Adolph get his chance here. He's just going to run an in cut, and he does a nice job creating a little space, a little contact at the top of the route, and then covers up that ball, a little ball security as he goes for the first down.
First down at the 33. Jackson straight ahead. Oh, Jackson. Stopped by Wright and Elad. She went up 8 yards on the run.
There's an injured Rutgers player on the field.
And I just love the story of Bo Jackson. How his father gave him the nickname Bo. For obvious reasons, Bo Jackson, but his real name is Lamar. Lamar Jackson, like the superstar quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. So it's Bo Lamar Jackson, destined for greatness. And welcome back, 14-3 our score. I just went out and bought me an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Got number 14. But I have a problem. I had a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey at 26, but he changed his number to 0.
Well, you got to get the 0 now.
No, I actually get a refund on that. Second down and 2 at the 41 for Ohio State. Julian Sayin drops it off. Guess who? Max Clare. Almost lost it, but he recovers the football. Max Clare having a day. James Peoples jumping on the football.
There's a flag over there way on the far side. And this is the end of the play as Clare, he gets hit hard. Rutgers is playing physical. That ball clearly out right there. And Peoples was the one that was able to jump on it. Officials are having a discussion on the far side.
Max Clare, 5 catches, 65 yards.
There's no foul on the play. The contact was ruled legal, first down.
You knew it was going to be a big day for Clare. Without Tatum Smith, obviously, he's got 5 targets, 5 catches, 65 yards so far. No one else has more than 2 catches outside of Clare. Ennis with a couple of grabs, one of them for that touchdown. But it hasn't been clean, has it? It's not what we normally see out of this Ohio State team. And when you take players like Tatum Smith off the field, it's going to affect anybody, and it's certainly affected this Buckeyes team.
First and 10 at the 47. And the handoff West this time. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny.
It was so interesting, guys. I had a chance to catch up with Max Clare practice on Thursday. I said, how is it to be here? Just describe this place compared to where you were before. And he said, you know what? It's really fun to play somewhere where you win. But there is a standard of excellence here, such a competitive environment. He said, you're either cut out for it or you're not. And you find out really quickly if you're going to be able to have success at Ohio State.
He's having success today. There's no doubt. A heck of a player. And now Keenholz is in the game at quarterback.
2nd and 6. Play fake. Keenholz rolls. Delivers. Incomplete. Brandon Innes, the intended receiver, and he gets up slowly, holding that left shoulder.
That ball's behind Innes. So Keenholz gets thrown in there again. He attempted a pass in the first half. It wound up being a roughing the passer. Here he's rolling out to his right, and he threw this ball really late. Innes was open for a long time, and then it's clearly behind him. He's trying to get there, and you see he takes the brunt of that impact to the ground right on the left shoulder. He reaches for it immediately.
3rd and 6. Saying back in. Saying off his back foot, leads his receiver, incomplete. What a job by this Rutgers defense. Ohio State will have to send it away. Buckeyes got the ball to start the second half. Rutgers turns him away. 14-3 is our score.
Taj Sanders, another play where he's got great coverage on a tight end, and I thought that ball was pretty well thrown. I thought Claire should have grabbed that one, but again, punting unit on the field for Ohio State.
McGuire, short kick with English. Oh, what a great job. Down at the 1. Joe McGuire. 42-yard punt. Rutgers backed up deep here in Columbus. Senior day here at Ohio State. That's the Styles family. Lorenzo on the left, Sonny on the right, Dad in the middle, and Mom. Sonny Styles. There's his brother. Went out with what looked like a shoulder injury. He has not returned. Rutgers with the football. 1st down and 10 at their own 1-yard line. Antoine Raymond in the backfield. He'll throw it. Far side. Nice toss. Good catch. Strong. And he's close to that 1st down marker.
Way too much cushion out there. Jermaine Matthews is playing way off. And you understand that. Listen, Ian Strong and KJ Duff, they have been so good down the field on film all year long. Contested catches, they do a great job. But Matthews there, a lot of space. And it allows Rutgers to just call an easy pitch and catch on the outside and get away from their own goal line.
Callie Manis, 7 of 14, 52 yards. 2nd and 1. Raymond. He will not get there. Kenyatta Jackson. Malone combining on the tackle.
Yeah, nice job by that defensive line. Tywone Malone, watch him just stand him up, number 95, along with Caden McDonald. Just stand up those offensive linemen, and then there's Kenyatta Jackson squeezing down from that in position and making the play and forcing a 3rd down situation.
3rd down and 1. Brown leaning. It will be close. McDonald again. I tell you, this Caden McDonald, Joel, is a tremendous player.
Well, he's huge, first of all. He's 6'3", 326 pounds. I think he's actually the key to the defense, number 98. You know, you think about those old Patriot defenses, and that's what Matt Patricia is running here at Ohio State. They always had that big guy in the middle, Vince Wilfork, Ted Washington, all those guys. And so the key is the middle, and it starts with Caden McDonald. He's got to hold the point lined up right over the center.
But Rutgers picks up the 1st down at their own 11 with some breathing room now. Another run. And barely getting back to the line of scrimmage. They give him a yard. Styles in on the play defensively.
Every great defense is built front to back and inside out. I mentioned earlier today, you know, this team has 4 first-round draft picks right down the middle. It starts with Caden McDonald. He'll be a first-round draft pick. Both linebackers, Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, they'll be first-round draft picks. And then you got the safety, Caleb Downs, to cap it off. And that's why what generally opposing offenses need to do to move the football against Ohio State is get the ball on the perimeter.
3rd down and 9 at the 12. Make that 2nd down and 9 at the 12. And hit! Loose! Curry! Caden Curry! Shot out of a cannon!
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense in the field of play, where it'll be 1st and goal.
Well, here he is around the edge. Great rush around that right tackle, and he gets to the arm of Kaliak. Manis, ball is out, and now he's got a little scoop, and they say he's just short as he hits the ground, spinning over the top of the offensive lineman. That was Tyler Needham. So here's the ball out before the hand is moving forward, so that's a fumble. And now it's a dash to the ball. He gets it, and was he across the goal? Oh, that's close as his butt hits down. Was that touching the goal line?
He looked like a break dancer.
He did.
Busted a move, Caden Curry. Wow, what a play.
Well, I thought that was close to the goal line. Senior day for Caden Curry. Has waited his turn to start out at defensive end, and he's put together a monster year. That's his 9th sack of the year.
1st down and goal at the 1. They run it with Donaldson, and he will not get in. Nicely done. And Goy making the tackle.
Yeah, this is just fast flow from these 3 guys up top, and no one gets there, and it's a bad read from Donaldson. You see the block from 83? That's the tight end, Nate Roberts. He's got his left side free, and so there's a space to just go outside. And as a running back, more important than just being tough at the goal line, it's being smart with your vision and making a good choice. And Donaldson right there just chose the wrong lane.
2nd down and goal at the 1. Donaldson, the deep man in the I formation. Play fake, saying, looking, end zone, incomplete. That one sailing out of bounds. Christian, the intended receiver, but a flag on the play.
Holding. Offense number 78, 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, that was the backup left guard, Ethan Onionwa. He came in because Luke Montgomery, the starting left guard, lost his helmet on the previous play, so he had to leave. So 78, Onionwa, he's in there, and watch, he gets beat to the right side, and then he just grabs the defensive lineman, and now Ohio State has to move back outside of the 10-yard line. So they can't get it in on 1st down. I thought that was a running back mistake there. Montgomery's helmet comes off. Onionwa has to come on the field, and here we go. It's 2nd and goal from outside the 10, Gus.
From the 11. 2nd down. Sayin to throw. Under pressure and incomplete. Eric O'Neal again. Eric O'Neal has had a fine game. Aside from that penalty, he has put so much pressure on Julian Sayin constantly in the Ohio State backfield.
Yeah, and O'Neal had a great game against Maryland. It was Weaver who got that penalty early, 94, and so O'Neal has been a real threat all day long, going back to last week, 2 weeks ago after the bye. Again, he had 2 TFLs in that game against Maryland, 10 tackles, and he's been causing problems in the backfield for Julian Sayin all day long.
Thank you for correcting me. 3rd down and goal at the 11. Sayin. End zone, wide open, touchdown. How did Max Clare get so wide open? Touchdown, Buckeyes.
Well, Clare comes in motion right here, and once he's there, they just lose him in coverage. And it looks like it's man coverage right there, and they get a little pick play. And it's a great job by the outside receiver, David Adolph. So he's picking for Clare, but he's got to act like he's running a route and not just going in to block him. Adolph runs his route, gets the contact. Clare's wide open for a touchdown.
Max Clare gives Ohio State a 20-3 lead. Fielding, extra point, and good. Ohio State has had drives of 98 yards, 29 yards, and 1 yard. Buckeyes trying to pull away. The greatest rivalry in sports is here. Top-ranked defending national champion Ohio State heads to the Big House looking to snap Michigan's 4-game win streak in the game. It all starts at 9 a.m. with a special 3-hour Big Noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. Then it's Michigan, Ohio State at noon, only on Fox. Michigan taking on Maryland today on our sister network, the Big Ten Network, and that game comes up after this one. And Wolverines are at Maryland. All right, now it's time for the Aflac trivia question. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover with Aflac. Ohio State has several players up for national awards who are the only teammates to win the Heisman Trophy and Bednarik Award in the same season.
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Gotta think about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that.
First down and 10 at the 25. And they'll hand it off. Raymond. Now you have 7 Heisman Trophy winners for Ohio State. Archie Griffin twice. Les Horvath, Vic Janowitz, Hopalong Cassidy, Eddie George, and Troy Smith.
Trying to think of like the linebacker when Eddie George won the Heisman. Was that?
Not sure.
I always try to think about a tie for this team. I'm thinking about that Bama team that had Devontae Smith. They won like all the offensive awards. That's kind of where my head's going. I don't know. I'm stumped on this.
We just don't know. And Rutgers to throw it. Caliet Manis in trouble and just gets rid of it out of bounds. All right, let's see what the answer is, folks. Who are the only teammates to win the Heisman Trophy and Bednarik Award in the same season? Jason White and Teddy Lehman.
Oh, man. I should have known that.
Yeah, you should have known that.
I had to play that team.
Oh, you did? You played against those guys?
Hey, Gus.
Maybe you don't remember.
Good.
They were pretty good.
Oh, you're right. Maybe I don't remember.
You don't remember that. Courtesy of Texas, right?
That's right.
3rd down and 9. Far side throw, nobody home, incomplete. Looks like there was some miscommunication. Ben Black, the target. Take a look. Jason and Teddy.
I mean, you remember when 61% for a quarterback, everyone was like, hey, man, he had a great year. Now it's a little different. Lehman obviously was incredible. Teddy was just a phenomenal. That was a great defense. But now, I mean, Julian Zayin's thrown for 80% this year. Like, it's wild, the way that the game has changed and the efficiency of the passing game has changed.
And it's the deep man as Anderson kicks it off. And he has it at the 30-yard line. 43-yard punt. Coming up, we'll see Julian Zayin. Young man, a Heisman Trophy contender. His team up 21-3.
He's fanning up.
Oh, my goodness. 21-3.
That looks freezing.
It's not freezing. It's 50 degrees.
I know.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, soft
my
showing,
gosh.
Man.
First down and 10 at the 30. Let me take you to East Lansing in February. I'll show you freezing. Jackson, what a hole. And Bo Jackson continues to impress.
A good block on the outside by the tight end, Bennett Christian. Every one of these runs, you know, that they finally break them out, those tight ends, they seal an edge. They do a nice job in blocking in the run game, and that's a big run for Jackson.
15 carries, 95 yards for Jackson. He runs it again. And Bo Jackson picks up 3. Get close to another 100-yard game for the freshman.
Yeah, this is where, listen, if you're Ryan Day, you want your 5 guys up front to just start owning the game and just take it over, drive down and score. If you want to take a shot, that's great off of play action, but everything needs to start with those 5 guys up front. Can you close it out? You know, can you own the line of scrimmage? This is not a great rush defense from Rutgers, and you got to put your stamp on this game if you're the offensive line of the Buckeyes.
2nd and 7 at the 48. Sayin wants to throw underneath, and it's caught. Max Clare. Oh, Max Clare showing off now with the hurdle, a 24-yard pickup.
He's trying to get the hurdle 2 weeks in a row right here. James Peoples hurdled a UCLA defender, and he scored. And Max Clare, he gets tripped up right there. But again, another crossing route off of a little play action. And they're eating up that man coverage that Rutgers likes to run against the tight end. Clare has been outstanding today now. 7 catches, Gus, over 100 yards. Best day as a Buckeye since transferring in from Purdue.
First down at the 27. Sayin with time. Incomplete. Mylan Graham, the intended receiver. And Joel, I found out what the secret sauce is with Ohio State and these receivers.
What's up? What's the secret sauce?
They get all these kids from a 7-on-7 program called SFE, the South Florida Express. Coach Gates, Brett Getz, Brandon, Carnell, Jeremiah, even Mylan Graham all come from this program. We need to start our own 7-on-7. Me and you.
You calling plays or what?
Of course. No, I'm just going to be the executive.
I see.
You're calling the plays. Jackson. Gain of 1.
Well, it's an embarrassment of riches, really, when you think about the run of wide receivers that this Ohio State program has been on. And a lot of that, you know, whether it's the program like SFE, South Florida Express, it's also attributed back to their offensive coordinator, now wide receiver coach Brian Hartline, who recruited all of these guys and then developed them. You know, and I think that's the one thing that has always been impressive about Ohio State is, yes, they get the talented guys, the 5-star guys, but once they get here, they get better. And it's very typical for these guys to develop into what becomes like great NFL wide receivers.
3rd down and 9. Sayin incomplete and a flag. Bryson Rogers covered up by Henderson, and Jacoby Henderson looks like he'll be called for the penalty.
Yeah, you know, here's the deal. I get it. There's a lot of contact, and he pulls him away. But that ball is thrown so far behind him. You know, I would make a strong argument that that's uncatchable.
Defense number 10. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You know, but the contact was so significant from Jacoby Henderson and pulling on Bryson Rogers, who's unable to even attempt to get back. And normally they'll be pretty judicious in allowing for a wide receiver to make a great play. And right there, it's a flag, and another costly flag for Rutgers and Greg Schiano. Remember, roughing the passer early in the game, extended a drive that wound up in the end zone.
First down and 10 at the 11. Jackson, the single setback. They give it to him. And he's wrapped up by Sam Robinson as he crosses the line of scrimmage.
Methodical drive, this Ohio State team. You know, as far as their pace of play, this is the slowest team in the country. When you talk about the time between snaps, almost 31.5 seconds. You know, they take between snaps, and that's intentional from Ryan Day. He wants to take snaps away from his defense, stay fresh for a long season.
2nd and 9 at the 10. They toss it out to Jackson with blockers, cuts it inside. Touchdown Buckeyes. Bo Jackson, a 10-yard run. He's over 100 yards rushing now and 2 touchdowns.
Well, you got to give the left tackle a lot of credit. That's Austin Sareveld. Watch Sareveld out in front, and also the tight end. That's Max Clare. Clare's the first one to contact. He sets the edge. Sareveld 1 block. Now 2 blocks as Jackson cuts back inside and is able to find the end zone.
Bo Jackson, 19 carries, 110 yards. He's averaging 5.8 yards per carry with a long of 15. His second touchdown of the day. Extra point is good. Buckeyes starting to pull away now. They go on a 7-play, 70-yard drive, eating up 3 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah, methodical, right? And that run game got going. I talked about that during the course of the series. And it all adds up to this team snapping the ball as few times as any. In total plays per game this year, you look at this chart, these are the top 5 teams in the country. Ohio State, the least amount of plays per game. This is total plays, offense and defense. You look down the line, and you look at, Texas Tech is running 140 plays, both sides. That's 233 extra snaps total. But I think it's more telling on the defensive side. Because if you look at the defense for Ohio State, they see so few plays. It's what allows them to be fresh and dominant. Bo Jackson, by the way, 5th 100-yard rushing game this season. That's the most by a freshman since J.K. All-Day Dobbins. In 2017, he was obviously so good back then.
So it's almost like they play an NFL style.
Yes,
in terms
very
of
much so. And I think you can attribute.
But what about the hurry-up offense? All that stuff we used to see in the Big 12 all the time. And when Ryan first took over the job, he was throwing it 50 times a game.
Yeah, they were. There was a play. Mick Moriarty, their strength coach, he told me, he's like, I remember a time when our offense went so quick that Joey Bosa, or it might have been Nick, one of the two, he took 105 defensive snaps in a game. Well, see, you've got to protect your defense. This defense is so good, right? This is the unit right here that if they're to go on to win a national championship, it will be because of this unit right here, the defense. And so what you want to do is you want to keep them as fresh as you possibly can. You look up, Gus, they're going to play 90 less defensive snaps over 12 games than Texas Tech's defense. Well, that's almost 2 games worth. They'll be more fresh, more healthy, and ready to dominate.
First down and 10 of the 25 for the Scarlet Knights. Here's Benjamin now. No gain. Caden Curry. What a year for Caden Curry.
Man, how about the day he's had? A couple of sacks.
Yes.
He had the strip sack.
9 sacks on the season.
9. And by the way, he had been quiet coming into this game. You looked in the last few games, and he only had he didn't have a sack in his last 3, only 1 TFL after dominating against Washington. But here he is today, and he's been a game wrecker on senior day.
7 tackles. 2nd and 10 of the 25. Here comes a blitz, and it's Caleb Downs. Hello.
Hey, man, tell me this is not NFL stuff right here. Look where he starts, Gus, and he's just going to run all the way into the middle of the line of scrimmage. The back usually has to have that, but how do you see that if you're a running back lined up on the opposite side? He comes from so far back, and yet he's so quick. Says bye-bye to that series. Caleb Downs, I tell you, man, the Swiss Army knife of college football. And he will be the face of a defense in the NFL. Look at all the awards he's up for. Bednarik, Lot Impact, Thorpe Award, Walter Camp Player of the Year, Nagurski.
3rd down and 18, incomplete. And the thing about Caleb Downs, I think the best compliment that people give him is that he reminds a lot of people, a lot of NFL guys, of Ed Reed.
Yeah,
and he's Ed Reed, one of the greatest safeties to ever play the game.
And so here's why, is that he's so smart. And so Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, can give Caleb things that a normal player just cannot handle. From a formation standpoint, a tendency standpoint. It's a low punt.
And out of bounds near the 30.
That's what separates him.
All right, let's go downstairs and check in with Jen.
It's been so nice to get to know Caleb Downs really all year. And, one thing I love about Caleb, he's got this seriousness, and you see it in these pictures. There he is with his brother Josh, and that seriousness is on display. So on the left, he said, I was 6 years old. I had 60 touchdowns, but actually 12 holding calls. Only 48 counted, and His story to me was his parents said, "You're so serious. You got to enjoy this." His high school coaches said, "Have fun. It's football. It's about to get really real." And he said, "I don't know how else to play football. I've only ever viewed it as a serious sport." At one point, he thought about not playing because Josh, it was his brother's sport. But thank goodness Caleb decided to play football. And oh, how lucky are we to watch it on display.
His dad, Gary, was a running back for the Giants, Broncos, and Falcons. Here's Sand to throw it. Excuse me, Keenholtz in the game now. Joel, I don't understand. I haven't seen this with Ohio State this year. Why is Coach Day switching quarterbacks?
Well, honestly, now I think it's just that it's 28-3, and he's going to give Keenholtz.
But he's been doing it all game
He
here.
did it a couple of times earlier. If you think back to last year, here's what I would suspect. If you think back to last year in the playoff, Will Howard, he had to make a couple of really important short yardage conversions with his legs. Well, that's not Julian Sain's forte, but it would be a Lincoln Keenholtz deal where he's athletic enough to do it, like this play right here. A nice little quarterback design run, and you see Gus right there. That's what they might need in short yardage in a playoff run. So he wanted to get him on the field and comfortable with normal football, and Sain will come out here. So now you see this package and this switching in and out. But it's also that you've got to put it on film, because now if you're Michigan or Indiana in the Big Ten championship game or a playoff team, you got to defend both packages and spend time defending number 10 and number 3.
Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Connecting changes everything. Hey folks, look at that sun shining in down here on Ohio State. 28-3 our scores to start the fourth quarter. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft with you. Total yards 129 for the Buckeyes in the third. -6 for Rutgers. That's the story.
You think it was an intense halftime in the Buckeye locker room?
First down. And the handoff to West. And Isaiah West. Freshman from Philly, no game. Keenholtz remains in the game. Let me tell you something about Keenholtz. He didn't win the starting quarterback job, but you don't earn the title of Iron Buckeye. Exceptional dedication and performance in the weight room and on the field, especially in the offseason, which means he's a leader. Getting some really good PT right now, which may pay dividends down the road. 2nd and 10. Keenholtz with a burst. Keenholtz, nice cut. And he'll dive down, lost the ball. It looks like he will be down.
The ruling on the field is the runner was down prior to the ball coming loose. It's first down.
Ground clearly caused this one as he cuts back. You can see he's headed down to the turf, firmly in his control until the ground hits. But that's the style of run that they're going to need. And you mentioned, yeah, he lost the battle. Good stiff arm on the outside. There's no doubt getting around the edge. But he lost the battle. But even after he lost the battle, Coach Day, that was only 12 days before the season that Ryan Day named Julian Sain the starter. And he said during that press conference, he said, listen, Lincoln is a competitor. I'm sure he wants to play and he's discouraged. But the team knows and he knows that we're going to need him. And he knows that. They will.
West on the edge, down the sideline, and knocked out of bounds at the 5. 28 yards.
This is their best run game. When they can run to the left side towards tight ends and those guys on the left, they can seal up that edge. This is called a stretch play. It's like a wide zone running play. And when they can run it to the left, to the wide side of the field, that's their best run game. And Isaiah West is their huge hole. You can drive a truck through it, and he's all the way down the sideline, putting it inside the 10. That left side of their offensive line, Gus, that's their strength. Saraveld, Montgomery, Hinsman, they've been trying to figure out the right side. They've been rotating at right guard between Tegra Shabola, Gabe Van Sickle. Number 58, who's in the game right now, and they had some communication problems. And
number 51 there, Luke Montgomery, he's one of my favorite Buckeyes. It's been great to watch him get opportunities.
The play clock was set incorrectly. Please reset the play clock to 25.
And
both
grow.
clocks will start on my signal.
Donovan Jackson taught him a lot last year.
And him having to play in the playoff run, you know, that's where his growth happened. And he knew, like, I can come in here and dominate. And he's done a great job this year.
Sweetheart, first down and goal at the 5. Keynotes. Incomplete.
Broken play there. There was miscommunication there. I think there was. Keenholz was expecting somebody break back out to the left side. No one was there. And now Sayin will jump back in. So here on this last couple of series, we've seen this in and out between Keenholz and Julian Sayin. Always coaching. That's what I love about all these guys. And Ryan Day's one of the best. 80-10 Ryan Day is in his career. My gosh.
Second and goal at the 5-yard line. Donaldson.
Far side official came in, marking him down at the 1. Looked like he got in. There is a flag also in the end zone. A straight ahead run. Donaldson, a big back, transferred in from West Virginia. So we'll have to figure out the flag, as well as did that ball get to the goal line before he was down. It certainly looks like it did. That elbow comes
the
down.
On the field is the runner who's short of the goal line. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 70 is first of the game. 15-yard penalty. The down counts. It's third down.
Okay, so because that was a dead ball, they're going to have to review that touchdown or not. You'll see what 70 does. That's Philip Daniels, the right tackle. He's right there in the middle of your screen. You can see he just continues to block and push, and then he goes down.
The runner short of the goal line is under review.
And so it's that last hit that he dove down after the defender. But again, that's a dead ball. And so you go back to, like, when was he down? Where was the ball? That's right there. His elbow's about down, and that ball looks like it is crossing the plane of the goal line. Looked to me like it touched the goal line.
I would agree with you.
So what can happen here is that this can be a touchdown, even with the flag. And then the penalty can be backed up on the extra point or on the kickoff. But it certainly looked to me like that ball was across the plane before the elbow hit.
After review, the result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 70. His first of the game, the 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
C.J. Donaldson, 10th rushing touchdown of the year. And Ohio State goes up 34-3.
Yeah, and now Gus over 200 yards on the ground. They had 222 against UCLA. And now over 200 against Rutgers here. And Donaldson, he's made a career out of finding the end zone. 42nd career touchdown.
The extra point is good. 35-3. 11:39 to play in the fourth quarter.
Style or substance? Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Where current eligible GMC owners get 0% APR with a total value of over $11,500 on this Sierra 1500 model. That's 20% below MSRP.
Today's digital world is full of risks. I present to you the world's most protected business.
Creed, we have AT&T Dynamic Defense.
It prevents malicious threats.
How are people supposed to get in? There's no door.
Somebody say door?
Light them up, Bobby. My man.
Domino's new spicy chicken bacon ranch is looking hot. Is that drizzled with? Ooh, fire. Mix and match medium specialty pizzas for $9.99. Only at
Domino's.
Wearing regular shoes feels this cramped. Or glide step wide fit hands-free Skechers slip-ins feel like this. With Skechers slip-ins, just step in, no bending down, no touching my shoes. Try wide fit Skechers slip-ins.
Big News Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 years. Wow, this kid gets wiped out. Look at that. A deke leader. Brutus, too. Brutus is 60. How can he keep doing that?
Look at this shot right here.
I love when they do this at the games.
So that shot, that last shot, that's our low end zone. That's Bobby. Bobby, our camera guy, he's so good, right? And you know, like, that's his favorite shot of the day.
It has to be.
To be Bobby's
That's some serious hitting going on.
Oh, I love it.
35-3, our score, as Ohio State prepares to send it away. And they'll start from the 15. Black. And he'll get close to the 30.
Pacific Life Game Summary is sponsored by Pacific Life, building confident futures for nearly 160 years. Well, it hasn't been totally perfect, but you look up and this Buckeye team have been totally dominant. 359 total yards to 70. Bo Jackson's had a big day. Max Clare, a big day, 7 catches for 105. And then the constant, Gus, we told you in the top of this game, this defense is for real. And they have been absolutely suffocating in this second half. There you see the offensive leaders. Quiet day throwing the ball for Sayin, but Jackson's been good. Clare has been good. Defense has been exceptional.
First down to the 29. And it's Raymond. Antoine Raymond wrapped up by Peyton Pierce, and he'll get 15.
Now you got a lot of the backups in here defensively for Ohio State. And I got to tell you, you know, they're flirting with history with some of their stats from a season perspective. So these starters on the sideline and their coordinator, Matt Patricia, they're going to be very interested in how some of these guys play. There's the young defensive end, Zion Grady, 15, getting some action.
First down to the 44. They want to throw it over the middle. And a nice pitch and catch by KJ Duff. Calliet Manis putting it on the money. Gain of 22.
Yeah, it's been a tough day. And look at the starters jog back on the field. They're like, no. Caden Curry back on the field right here for Ohio State as they're trying to protect some of those numbers.
Now, what happened in the second half? It was 14-3 at halftime, and all of a sudden, Ohio State comes out in the second half and just turns it on.
Yeah, they just kind of strangled Rutgers. You know, defensively, they were suffocating, and so the run game wasn't there for Rutgers. They were great in coverage on the outside.
Here's Raymond.
Nice run there. And then the offense started controlling the football. Long drives, running it well. The offensive line started to own things, and they just controlled the line of scrimmage and controlled the game because of that in the third quarter.
Was there, would you say, a particular adjustment that was made?
I mean, honestly, I think it was mostly just concentration and effort. You know, getting the attention of some of these guys. I didn't see anything specifically from a schematic adjustment that they did differently.
Second down and 2. Rutgers trying to put together a nice drive here. Raymond, and he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. Edric Houston in on the play.
Nice stop. There's another freshman in there. That's number 20, Riley Pettijohn. He's a freshman from McKinney, Texas. Good looking linebacker. He was a top 100 recruit. We'll be looking at major playing time a year from now when Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are playing in the National Football League.
Third down and 3 at the 27. They throw it. This time, Fletcher. And Kenny Fletcher Jr. Nice catch and a first down.
Yeah, Fletcher Jr. is a good player. He had 18 catches coming in to this ball game. He's an aggressive guy on the outside, just a touch undersized, at the tight end position, but I like the way that he moves on film, and right there did a good job of getting outside, getting the line to gain, and moving the chains for this Rutgers offense.
First down, Scarlet Knights at the Ohio State 24. They run it left. Raymond. He'll go down inside the 20. Pierce with the tackle, 4-yard pickup.
Nice series here for Rutgers, kind of building towards next week. They're going to need to beat Penn State in order to get to the postseason. It's going to, in that game, come down to that offensive line, because you can see, like, if they can run the football, then they can get to some of that passing game that has been prolific for them at times during the course of the year. But because they haven't run it great today, it's been really tough for them to get to that pass game. They've only run it for 1.5 yards per carry.
2nd and 6. And incomplete, but a flag. Jermaine Matthews Jr. covering K.J. Duff.
Pass interference, defense number 7. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now he just catches him right there, and it's such a tough matchup because I mentioned it earlier. Jermaine Matthews is only 5'11". K.J. Duff is 6'6". So he sits there, he gets on top of the route, but then he catches him and just doesn't let go. And that hold of the left shoulder with the left hand prevented Duff from going back and making a play on that ball. It's the right call right there, and just a tough matchup for Jermaine Matthews.
So first down and goal at the 4 for Rutgers. Play fake. Fletcher can't get in. Stopped short of the goal line.
Nice play on the outside right here. They're trying to go back to that same play they ran earlier on the series to the other direction. Fletcher just a bit short.
Second down and goal at the 1. And touchdown, Antoine Raymond.
Good series for Rutgers.
12th rushing touchdown of the season for Raymond.
That's what I love about watching Greg Schiano's team. They're just never going to quit. They're never going to stop fighting. That's what he expects out of them. Nice job by that offensive line. You can see after he gets in, Caleb Downs over on the sideline is thinking to himself, come on, fellas.
Rutgers going for 2. Kaliakmanis. And picked off. Devin Sanchez in the back of the end zone. 6:43 to play in the 4th. 35-9 Buckeyes. Ohio State and Rutgers. Buckeyes ready to get it again. This one fielded by Innocent. Will step away momentarily. In a big second half for the Buckeyes, 35-9. Last year, Ryan Day came into the season with a lot to prove, and he did it when he won Ohio State's first national championship since 2014. But he still left some boxes unchecked. He is still looking to win his first Big Ten championship since 2020 and to beat Michigan for the first time since 2019. First down to the 25 for the Bucks. Keen Holtz in the game at QB. Here's the handoff to West. Isaiah West. Gains 4.
You just think about that matchup next week. I tell you what, man, that is the best game in college football. The biggest rivalry maybe in all of sports. You just think about where that rivalry left off on this field last year with the scuffle at the end. Ohio State goes on to win the national championship. Michigan ended up beating Alabama in a bowl game. And, you know, depending on what happens with Michigan and Maryland, you know, Michigan will be thinking to themselves that they can get into the playoff with a win, you know. So I tell you, just like all the stakes in the world.
Keen Holtz drops it off. And this time it's Jelani Thurman, his 7th catch of the season. Let's take a look at what some of the ranked teams are doing today.
Michigan's got that Maryland squad on the road. Illinois, Wisconsin, and then the monster game up in Autzen as Oregon is going to host USC.
Who do you like in that game?
You know, Oregon is a bad matchup for USC. I really love the trajectory that the Trojans are on. You know, but I just think that Oregon team runs the ball so well. That defense is really, really good. I think they'll be tough to beat in their home stadium.
First down to the 48. West.
You take a look at these Big Ten teams, Ohio State and Indiana, you know, they're pretty firmly in the CFP. And then you got these 3 teams that maybe work to do. Oregon inside of that line, obviously winning in for them. An 11-1 Oregon would certainly be in the playoff. You know, I think if USC were to beat Oregon, they would almost certainly jump inside of that top 10 and be a CFP team. And then Michigan with that monster game against this Ohio State team. If Michigan were to go 10-2 with a win over the #1 team in the country, one of their only losses, one of their 2 losses being at Oklahoma in a non-conference game with Oklahoma firmly inside of that top 10, I think Michigan would go.
And here's the run for Peoples down the sideline. And he will stroll into the end zone for a touchdown. 49 yards.
Boy, second straight game we've seen a big run from James Peoples. And I love what this guy has been able to do. He started the season really as the #1 back. Bo Jackson overtook that position, but James Peoples never stopped working. He kept a positive attitude. And I tell you, late in the season, he has turned into a really good option for this Ohio State team and provided them with a lot of depth out of that backfield. Look at the explosiveness on the outside. That offensive line did a heck of a job blocking things up and opening up the hole for their running back.
Last 4 possessions for the Buckeyes, 4 touchdowns. Extra point is good. 42-9.
Yeah, even without their stars, you know, I know that there were spots of that second quarter that there was probably some frustrations for Ryan Day. I know they were frustrated with that fumble at the goal line, but you look up, and without Smith and Tate, now they basically punted one time, Gus.
Yep.
You know, and they had the 1 fumble. They ran the ball really effectively today. Now they're up to over 6.5 per carry, 258 yards on the ground.
Actually, Ohio State has punted twice in this game.
Touchdown, 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 touchdown in the last 4 possessions. This is an efficient football team, and I will say, And I always say this, anytime I'm talking about a playoff run for any team, is that you got to have answers. You can't just have one element to your team that's great. You got to have answers if something gets taken away. Let's say you get in a shootout if you're Ohio State, when your offense has to answer the bell. Let's say you get into a slugfest, you got to answer the bell. They have proven during the course of the year to have answers. Now, I know the narrative surrounding this team, there's a lot of people that talk about that they haven't been tested, and that this team, what will happen if and when they face adversity. There's two ways to look at that. Yes, they haven't faced adversity, but at the same token, you can only play the schedule that's in front of you. And at the beginning of the season, they had the #1 team in the country coming in here, Texas. They had the #2 team in the country on their schedule in Penn State. They had Illinois, who was a 10-win team a year ago. Washington had the second longest home winning streak in college football. They've taken care of business. And I'm just not going to hold it against a team that goes out there and does what they need to do. It's also due to their greatness that they have not faced adversity. It's due to their dominance on the defensive side. And, I don't think that there's any team in America that you can honestly say, hey, they don't have many weaknesses. And I think this is the strongest, most complete team in the country.
Rutgers keeping it on the ground. Benjamin. Think about last year's season. Ohio State finished 14-2, 7-2 in the Big Ten. Buckeyes started that season #2. They lost 2 games by a total of 4 points. 1 point at Oregon and 3 points here against Michigan. And then, guess what? They go on to win the national title in convincing fashion, beating Tennessee by 25, Oregon by 20, Texas by 14, and Notre Dame by 11.
It was one hell of a run. I got to tell you that. It was some of the best football that we've ever seen.
And Benjamin. I'll just never forget watching Jack Sawyer pick that ball up.
Captain Jack.
And run down the side. I thought I was watching a Martin Scorsese movie. I could just hear the music in the background.
Yeah.
And the crescendo when he crossed the goal line.
JT Tuimoloau. Jenny, I think he told you. I think JT said Jack came off and all he could ask was, hey, did I look fast?
Yes, you did, Jack.
You said, sure. You just say, yeah, you scored.
It looks like he's going to be a fine NFL player. Now A.J. Surace comes in at quarterback for Rutgers. Sophomore from Pennington, New Jersey. Benjamin with the run.
Yeah, you look around the country, and I think Indiana would be the next team that I would say has answers, and they look complete. It's a really good defense. They can run the football. Mendoza in the Heisman race, they can throw it really well.
What about Georgia?
Yeah, listen, that would be the third team on my list that I'm like, okay. And here's the thing, it's because they're just battle tested. They've been down multiple possessions several times this year, so it's not like they don't have any deficiencies. The problem is they're just hard to kill.
I remember Kirby Smart saying the year they won the national championship, going into the national championship game, he was being interviewed on the sideline, and he said, we've been hunted all season long. Now it's time to eat. Buckeyes feel exactly the same way. Guys for College Football Extra, sponsored by Amazon. (42-9), 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Ohio State on top of Rutgers. Scarlet Knights 3rd down and 6 at the 41. A.J. Surace has come in at quarterback for Rutgers. And he hands it off. Benjamin will not pick up the first down. And that brings up 4th down. Julian Sayin, 13 of 19, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He just keeps mowing along, improving.
I'll just say this, to win the Heisman, you got to have moments and stages. This was never going to be the stage for saying. So, say what you want about his numbers today. His stages are ahead of him. Next week against the Wolverines, possibly Big Ten championship against Indiana.
4th down and 2. Rutgers going for it. Benjamin cuts it back and will not get it. So Rutgers will turn it over on downs. With 1:08 remaining.
Pretty convincing day from this Ohio State defense. The historic run continues. It's the 7th time in 11 games they're going to hold their opponent to under 10 points, giving up 9 today to Rutgers. They're up there with some of the all-time greats defensively. 7.6 points per game allowed this season. That's the second fewest by any team through 11 games since 1990. That Georgia team in 2021 gave up 7.5. That team went on to win the national championship. This is a motivated and excellent group. You think about all the draft picks they had off of last year's defense. Gus, they're going to have 4 first-rounders on this year's defense right down the middle, and probably another 4, maybe 5 draft picks around their defense that aren't first-rounders. They're looking at 8 or 9 guys getting selected in the spring, and one of them will certainly be that man, Sonny Styles.
Ohio State came into this game wanting to take care of business, but also, more importantly, wanting to get out of the game healthy.
Yeah.
Now, Lorenzo Styles did go out. Sonny's older brother looked like he had a shoulder. Hopefully, he'll be okay for next week. And that'll do it. As Ryan Day crosses to his friend, Coach Schiano. They have a great relationship, work together. Coach Schiano's team fought hard. Ryan Day, as he always tells us, he has one job, and that's to win every game. 11 straight now. Matt Patricia, what an addition he's been to this Ohio State team, running the defense. Let's go downstairs to Jen.
Well, Coach, I know it wasn't perfect, but then you look up at the score and total domination in the second half. How would you evaluate this finish from the group?
Guys played hard, and we stayed focused, and there's going to be some things that we want to clean up, as always, but now we know where the focus goes to next week, and the focus has been clean all year in terms of making sure that we focus on each day at a time and maximizing each day and then showing up on Saturday. And so now we got to be at our best this week.
I know you said it's time to focus on what is to come, and the moment this game ended, it did become Michigan week. How prepared are you and this group to go get it done?
Yeah, man, guys are already talking about it on the sideline, and everybody's already locked in and fired up. It's going to be a hell of a week.
What are they saying?
They can't wait for the week. Playing for hardware now.
All right, see you there.
All right.
Focus, the key word for Coach Day, as his team defeats Rutgers. The final score here in Columbus, Ohio State 42, Rutgers 9. Right now, we'll send you back to Los Angeles for more college football coverage after this break. For Jenny, Joel, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long and have a wonderful day.